What is your goal from attending that meeting? What do you hope to get out of it?
World peace.
Breaking news for all eschatology fans and prophecy watchers. Something amazing just happened at the White House just now. I have been watching for over 40 years for the prophecy of Daniel 9:27 to take place, which means that there will be a peace agreement among many nations surrounding the Israel area, because it's all focused on Israel. Daniel 9:24 says that 70 weeks, it was given by an angel to give to Daniel, who was an Israelite. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people, Daniel, meaning 70 weeks are given to the Israelites and to Jerusalem. Let me show you what Donald Trump just said, because he basically just used the words in the verse. Here we go.
At the UN next week, you're going to the UN?
I'll be at the UN. I'll be making a speech, yes.
And are you meeting any other world leaders?
Many of them.
He said he's meeting with many at the UN. Many.
Many of them.
And that's what the verse says in Daniel 9:27. It's the covenant with many.
Many of them.
For 1 week. He used the very word in the verse. But then the reporter asks what his goal is for even going there. You'll be surprised at what he says.
Well, I'm meeting many of them. They're being set up.
What is your goal from attending that meeting? What do you hope to get out of it?
World peace. Nobody's done a better job than I've done in world peace. Nobody's settled so many wars as I have. You know, I've been here probably a little bit more than 8 months, and I've settled 7, and that doesn't include the destruction of a vast potential nuclear disaster in Iran, which we wiped out totally, as I say, obliterated. We obliterated it. And I don't even include that. But that stopped a war. That stopped maybe a catastrophic war.
Mr. President.
So I think that nobody has ever done anywhere near that. Now, on top of that, we're working very hard to get Russia-Ukraine settled. We'll see what's going to happen there. I hope we're going to get it done. President Xi and I spoke to him about it, and I believe that he really would like to see it done also, and I think he's going to work with us to help. We have a long time to go before I get up and speak at the UN, because every day is a long time when it comes to Gaza and it comes to Israel and the Middle East.
And that's exactly what this verse means. It's a peace covenant with many nations. Now, what we don't know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens coming towards the end of this month, or really the beginning of the next month, which is on the new moon, which is on September 23rd. We'll see if they agree to, within the next couple of weeks or so from there, we're going into what would be, if there was a temple there, these would be the Jewish festival days, which is the Feast of Trumpets, Feast of Atonement, Feast of Tabernacles. That's a 2-week time period in there. Now, 69 of those weeks, these are weeks of years, so 7 years, blocks of 7 years. 69 of those took place, and when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey just 4 days before he was killed, that was the last day of the 69th week of years of this prophecy. And then Jesus was killed, he was cut off, his life was cut off on the cross. This is Daniel 9:26a. And then in Daniel 9:26b, the second part of the verse, after Jesus Christ is cut off on the cross, that was around 32 AD, the second part of the verse is in 70 AD, because it says that there is a prince that will be coming, and his people will destroy Jerusalem. And that's what happened in 70 AD. They destroyed the city, they destroyed the sanctuary, which is the temple, and to this day there is no temple in Jerusalem. This timeline began with a commandment to rebuild and restore Jerusalem and the temple. That's when the weeks began. The weeks ended after Jesus Christ was cut off on the cross. It ended in 70 AD. Those weeks were completely stopped when the temple was destroyed. And we have been in a time period of about 1953 years or so since there has not been a temple in Jerusalem. That means there's been a pause on this timeline. That means that there's one final week to go, and that final week can only be, it will end the same way it began, with a commandment to restore and to rebuild the temple. And when that happens, Israel will be in their final week, their final 7 years before their Messiah, their Savior, is revealed to them. It's called the revelation of Jesus Christ. This final week is in Daniel 9:27. Let me read it to you. This, I believe, is what is finally here. I've been watching this for the majority of my entire life. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. This is the prince who is of the destroying people, the Gentiles. He's a Gentile person. He's not the Messiah. Some people say that he is. He's not. He's a Gentile. Again, you have the builders, which are the Israelites of the city and the sanctuary, and you have the destroyers of the city and the sanctuary, which are Gentiles. That's how it works. So there's two different princes in this context. He is called the man of sin. He's also called the beast in Revelation. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. Now, this is not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is literally just someone who is on the outside of all these wars that have been happening. He's just trying to bring world peace, and many different nations are going to come together and confirm that they will agree to peace and no more wars. Now, this is what's interesting. So there's going to be someone who is of one of these nations. I believe he may be from Turkey, a world leader who will confirm with many other nations. We won't even know really who he is. He's going to be secret. We won't know who he is until 3.5 years of that 7 years are completed. And then he will come to Jerusalem. He will ruin the peace agreement by attacking Jerusalem. He will then go into a rebuilt temple. That's the point. The temple is going to be rebuilt in Jerusalem. When you see that, when you see the temple getting rebuilt in Jerusalem, Israel's in their final week before they meet their maker. Seriously. And on top of that, God is going to send 2 prophets called the 2 witnesses in Revelation that will be preaching to the Israelites the truth of who their king is going to be. He's giving them one last chance to believe in him by faith before he reveals who he is. And when we see these things happen, Israel rebuilding a temple, 2 powerful men preaching to the Israelites, Jesus Christ. Israel is in their final 7 years, and literally for all of us, that means that literally the Son of the God of heaven, the Creator himself, will be an immortal man called the new man, as Paul puts it. It's the new flesh. It's an immortal flesh. He will be ruling and reigning in Jerusalem for 1,000 years. This is absolutely astonishing because it looks like it's happening in your lifetime and mine. Follow this channel if you haven't already. Subscribe now. If there was a temple, which there is not, these would be legitimate feast days, but there are not legitimate feast days without a temple. God had that destroyed because of their rejection of him, so he destroyed their temple. He destroyed their entire system. But he's going to let them rebuild the system again. He's going to bring prophets over there to them to teach them, and he will be involved with them. But he's going to gather all the Israelites to Jerusalem, literally out of all nations, meaning all the Jews, all the Israelites will have to leave the United States of America and all other nations because God's going to gather them all back to Jerusalem, and he's going to deal with them there for the final 3.5 years. There's going to be 3.5 years of peace and safety. And then there's going to be, the next 3.5 years are going to be a time of trouble for the Israelites where they're going to have to make a choice of either they're going to side with Lucifer, the beast, the antichrist, the false prophet, and literally take his DNA, which is a mark. Or if they get their head cut off by not taking the mark of the beast, then they get to take Jesus Christ's DNA when he returns, and that's called the body of Christ. That's, again, the new man, the immortal flesh. He's going to resurrect them from the dead and give them an immortal flesh, which is named after him because he was the first in it. It's called the body of Christ. They either take the DNA of Lucifer or the beast, the Antichrist, which I believe is Nimrod. Either they take the mark of the beast and they think that they're going to save themselves, or they get their heads cut off and they get to take Jesus's DNA, which they're going to be the sons of God at that point. They're going to be flesh and bone bodies, just as Jesus Christ has, and they will be his kin, immortal kin, sons of God. So all of this seems to be on the doorstep of the political and religious doorstep, if you will, where Trump is gathering all nations together. Again, he's not the Antichrist. He's the one that's facilitating the peace agreement. He is the deal maker. He's got the art of the deal. He is the one that's gathering all nations together because they're all fighting all the time, and he hates that. So he's figuring out a way to get them to stop. Now, it's not going to last, but if we see that the number 7 years, that's what a week is. It's Daniel 9:27 is talking about a peace. It's a covenant with many for 1 week. That means a period of 7 years. If that's what we see at the end of this month or the next month, somewhere here in the fall, then literally it's all about to happen. If we hear that Israel has 7 years of peace, and that they have to, it's not just a ceasefire, it's literally a peace agreement to stop the wars with all nations. And it doesn't even really include the United States because we're not at war. It doesn't include, like, Trump is not the antichrist because he's not a problem. He's not a warmonger. It's out there. It's over there in the East, not in the West. So Donald Trump is facilitating this. He's going to the UN in late September 2025. We're going to see what happens. Keep watching. I'll be covering this as well because this is literally what has been leading. I've been on YouTube for 16 years talking, waiting for this to happen. Again, thank you for your subscription. We're going to get to 100,000 subscribers here, hopefully before the 23rd. That would be amazing. Thank you guys. And then we're going to see what happens if they make a deal. If the number 7 is involved, if it's 7 years, we're there. Daniel 9:27. Israel is now in their 70th week. They're going to be able to get their temple rebuilt. And if we see that, literally, we're in the 70th week. This has a number. There's so much that this means. If we see 2 prophets, Moses and Elijah, preaching over there, preaching the truth of Jesus Christ to his people because they don't believe. The whole point is to bring in the big guns so that they believe. They got 3.5 years to believe. And then this man of sin, this antichrist person, is going to break the peace covenant. He's going to come to Jerusalem with armies and surround Jerusalem. He's going to break the peace agreement, and he's going to take over Jerusalem for himself. Then what he's going to do is he's going to go into the temple. He's going to sit there. He's going to proclaim that he himself is God, and that to God is called the abomination that causes desolation. At that point, for the next 3.5 years, he is going to try to get all Israelites to worship him, to worship his image, which is the image of the beast, and to take his DNA, which is the mark of the beast. And if they don't worship him or take his mark, then they will be beheaded. All of this is on the table. It's all about to happen, I think, right now, finally. And this isn't even date setting. We're watching the politics. This has never happened. Trump is literally getting this together. It's absolutely amazing.
What is your goal from attending that meeting? What do you hope to get out of it?
World peace.
Trump is only involved so much as that he's trying to gather people together for peace. He really wants the peace. It's other people that break it. It's somebody else that breaks it. He's going to go into the temple in Jerusalem, proclaim himself to be God, and then at that point, we're going to know who it is, and he will be revealed. As it says, 2 Thessalonians 2:8, that wicked shall be revealed when he sits in the temple proclaiming himself to be God. 2 Thessalonians 2:4 and 8. All of this is on the table right now. So what do you think? Drop a comment, share this with somebody. Literally, let people know that we are like right on the edge. Then the other thing, I'm going to make another video. I'm going to tell you about dispensationalism. If you're interested in that, subscribe because I'm about to completely blow that wide open. And we're going to talk about the pre-tribulation rapture. I'm about to do that as well again. And we've got a number of things to talk about because it's all converging. Are you ready? Thanks for your time. Again, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you the next time. My name is Scott. Thank you so much for your support. An extra special thanks goes to my channel members. You guys are keeping this operational, and this is the time to be a member. It's all happening now. Thank you guys. I love you. I will see you in the next video. Matter of fact, click this one right here, but not until you like and share this one. I'll see you soon. God bless.